504 B King to Broadview Station.
Howdy folks, it is Tuesday, September 23rd if I'm not mistaken. The time right now is 5 p.m. and the temperature is a very nice 24 degrees Celsius, and I'm here on King Street East. And that was a 504 King streetcar I was just on. And in this one, we're going to take a walk, or at least I'm going to take a walk through a neighborhood downtown known as Trefann Court. That's a small but historically significant area here in downtown. And it's one that not many people know by name. And at one point, it was the subject to the city's desire to clear it out, as the city said there was a slum problem. But I'm gonna head up this really neat street called Bright Street just to get up to the Trefan Court neighborhood. Most of the Victorian era homes here were built between 1870 and 1890, and you can really see some of them are leaning pretty good. I think that's just due to how the foundations have settled over the past 130 years or so. There's some more modern homes across the street. But I think the soil in this area has historically been on the soft side. Here's a smaller workers' cottage style home. But Trefan Court up ahead is roughly bound by Queen Street to the south, which is just at the end of this street here, and Shooter Street on the other side, River Street to the east, which is to the right, and Parliament Street to the left, or I guess west. So we're going to kind of meander around and through the neighborhood. And it's located within Corktown. Across the street is VizTech. That structure was originally part of the Dominion Brewery. Now it's a major electronics store. It's a good source for a lot of professional photo and video grade gear. This is going west on Queen Street East. Along the south end of Trefann Court. This is a major commercial and residential artery. I did a video featuring Queen Street East about 2 months ago. Visit Detroit. It's all love from Detroit with an Ontario plate. So we're just going to head over to Parliament. I'll head north half a block and we'll start heading through the interior of Trefan Court.
Very fit. قشنگ مثلا گفت میره اکوناکس.
I think roughly there's about 4,500 people who live in the neighborhood. Like most in Toronto, it's rather diverse. And we're located on the east side of downtown. This is Sackville Street. But in the 1800s, the area developed and started to be settled mostly by blue-collar workers. There were a lot of workers' cottages and row houses and small industries that were present here. But by the mid-1900s, many of the homes were in rather poor condition. They were on very small lots with little in the way of indoor plumbing. That includes a lot of the homes on streets like Sackville here. And the city actually labeled the area as a slum. So there was a plan for another urban renewal project just a few decades earlier. The city cleared out the area just to the north of here, known as Regent Park, which had developed into a slum, and then they targeted Trefann Court in 1966. And the plan was to build a bunch of high-rise public housing and institutional buildings. So essentially, it would just be an extension of Regent Park. And the city argued that the housing stock was beyond repair and the area had become blighted. Here's looking to Trefann Court. We'll be wandering through some of those streets pretty soon. But there was an organized fight by homeowners and tenants and a lot of the city's activist communities. And by 1969, the city had basically given up. But the area did see some new cooperative housing and integrated community services pop up in the area. It was considered a landmark victory. It showed that residents could successfully fight the city. I remember seeing some neat artwork right on the wall here. And this helped shift the city towards more community-based planning in the 70s. And just up here on the right was where the first purpose-built cinema was in the area. That opened in 1909. It's at 364 and 366. I think that's it. A lot of the businesses in this area are not doing very well. And the city's absurd zoning policies have kept developers by far and large out of this area. It's extremely challenging to redevelop some of these properties. I talked about that in the video I did walking through Queen Street East. This is Parliament Street. There's a look to the south. And just across the street is the Moss Park neighborhood, which features more community housing. And I remember when this opened, it's good to see it's still here, Hangout Street. Shawarmas. But we are going to head along Meyer-Walensky Lane here. Who I believe was a doctor and an advocate for the co-op housing that appeared in this area in the 70s. And this will lead us to Trefann Street. And we'll head north up that. I keep saying we. I'm just assuming you're here along with me. I'll be heading north up to Shooter. And here's some of the newer housing that was added in the 70s and early 80s. There's some of the older housing. So there's an interesting mix of late 1800s era Victorian homes and newer ones that were kind of built in a similar style. And there's a home that has a pretty good lean on it. I find these streets to be quite pleasant. This is Sydenham Street. I'll be cutting through here somewhat shortly. But we'll head up and take a look at Shooter Street. That is Regent Park across the street. And the neighborhood just to the north is Cabbagetown, which is known for its extensive collection of Victorian homes. But a lot of them have turned into slums, you could say. St. Jamestown, just to the north, was cleared out. Regent Park, which is right across the street here, was also cleared out. And they wanted to clear Trefan Court out as well. But fortunately, a fairly large section is fairly well preserved. That home's quite interesting. There's some old workers' cottages. Quite the contrast. This laneway here is Patterson Place. Like many of the laneways and streets, it was named after an earlier resident of the area. There is one street in this neighborhood that is quite charming. And I'll get to that near the end. I'm exploring this neighborhood. But this is Sydenham Street. So a lot of these are co-ops. The street was named after a former Governor General of Canada. There's some tunes coming out of that place. It really is such a unique little pocket in downtown. Some colorful artwork. Oh, they've got their garage door painted as well. I drew up plans to do a walk through this area about 4 or 5 years ago, and I remember I did some homework on it and I came up with a route and I just never got around to it. I've certainly walked along Queen and Shooter and Parliament and River a number of times. And I've passed through it in some live streams. And this is Sackville Street coming up, if I'm not mistaken. I think this one was named after a British Army officer and politician. And this street will head north right up through the heart of Cabbagetown. There's a small walk-up apartment. And it's back to Shooter Street. There's the Regent Park Community Center. And an old Road Trek 190 home and park, not unlike the one my dad used to own. I believe this is a women's housing co-op on the right. That public school across the street was renamed after Nelson Mandela. And I think they moved the front entrance to the other side. This street too was named after a Toronto resident from the 1800s. I think Dr. Thomas Shooter. He was a landowner in the area. There's a big sports field with an outdoor rink just across the street up there on the left. This is Sumach Street. There's the athletic grounds across the street. This park has been redone in recent years, and they have a nice off-leash zone for dogs. There's a cafe, Sumach Espresso.
Over this stupid lawsuit. Draco.
Yeah, this is the street I was talking about earlier that I think is quite charming. I'll loop back up to there in a moment. And there's an old bar named the Dominion that used to be right there that closed down, unfortunately, about a year or two ago. So I think I can head up to that street here. My curiosity is pulling me this way. All right, let's head up to Wascana. I think that's how you pronounce it. It might just be Wascana. I've never actually heard anyone say this street name where I'm heading to. Well, that's pretty gnarly. Look at that deck. Mix of new and old. Again, most of this housing dates back to the 1880s. And apparently, Wascana is a Cree word meaning pile of bones. That's kind of a curious name for a Toronto street. And straight ahead is River Street, so I'm going to take that north up to Dundas. There's the old Queen City Vinegar Company location in the Toronto Humane Society, just south of that. This is River Street. Features a mix of older industrial buildings, newer condos and old residences. And it comes to the end north of here in Cabbagetown.
You got it. What was that
The T.C. Douglas Housing Cooperative. I don't have to look up where this street got its name from. I think I can safely assume that it's called River Street as it runs parallel to the Don River, which is just to the east of here. I want to check out those trash pandas over there. I don't know what this building is. Well, I like what they've done with it. Here's a traffic stop with a couple of cops on either side of the vehicle. You don't see that too often. Looks like he was fiddling around trying to get documentation. I mentioned they cleared out Regent Park, which was considered to be an area full of slums. And some have described the new housing development, or the previous housing development that replaced all those old Victorian homes as being slum-like as well. Well, this is the newer redevelopment of the area. So perhaps that would have been the fate for Trefann Court as well, had the city have gone ahead with their slum clearing. There's some boarded up properties. And we've made it to Dundas Street East. Where I think I will bring this one to a close. So I hope you enjoyed this walk around Trefann Court and the surrounding area. It was fun exploring it. I look forward to your thoughts and comments down below. If you wish to support what I do, there's links to my Patreon and YouTube channel membership down in the description. I've got an Instagram account at Johnny Strides, and there is a super thanks button appearing down below if you wish to say thanks that way. Anywho, from the corner of River and Dundas, thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Yoink.